want to see if it's waking. Plus, I like to see myself go bleep, bleep, bleep. Had to get the other one out so it'd be even. 2 sets of 3. 2 sets of Teslas. 16. Anyway, because I want to tell you another story. This is a real story. It's in the book. It's under the chapter. It's called The Tree House Debacle. Now, they get to steepling. We steeple. We go to the church. We move our hands and stuff. But Coach Cappy's, his shoulders comes out of place, and so maybe I'm just a little bit more with me old hands. Anyway, I'm sorry, baby. Come, pussycat. Little pink nose, come in here. Little pink nose, just walking to the bar. I got the mama. You see the mama? Oh, you see Mama Cat. Mama Cat comes in here and she stay with Coach Cabbage and so with little pink nose all day and just sit in my lap and do stuff and whatever. Pussycats, I don't know what they get out of it, but it tears the hell out of your clothes. Anyway, what can you say? We're going to talk into an eraser because the eraser is a baser. And we're going to be baser right off. 118. 2 seconds by, but you have to do it. You have to do it. It's in the contract. The Tree House Debacle. Now, Coach Cabbage, I sit around thinking about this here stuff. Well, very often. It's very disturbing. And it's in the book. I done written it down. The Tree House Debacle. And Coach Cabbage, we're back in the 9th grade. And, I growed up with the Ouija boards and the table walkers and the Masonic rages and all the stuff that goes along with driving a little clown car and all that stuff that goes on. And anyway, as I growed up and I got away from that, thing is, this stuff did not seem to leave. Especially the things that Coach Catfish had known and dealt with. And, digging the hole, the Oogaroo, well, that's just part of, it's a part of you. Anyway, the next thing, Treehouse Debacle. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Colonel McGregor. Maybe you can come in here and mitigate these here kernels of truth. Let me have a little drink of magic juice. This may take a little while. It is a story after all. The magic juice. I'm sorry. I don't know what they do. They go off and come back and you don't know what they're doing. The treehouse. Coach Cabbage like every other youngin'. 305. I climb trees. I'd still climb trees if I didn't figure I'd fall out and I don't have the muscle mass to pull myself up no more. But I was a tree climber from way back. If anybody want to know where Coach Cabbage was and they could not find him, they go up there and look out in the trees and there I was sitting with a book. Because, I hid my books. Anyway, the tree houses. So I built the mini tree houses. It's natural for boys. And I guess little girls, if they fancy the thing, go out and build tree houses. Because we trying to have our fantasy life. And, being a country people, country youngins, and growing up where you had trees and stuff like that. Well, hell, you had multiple tree houses. And bears and unnecessary things, and duck lines, and your forts that you did. Thing is, when we built this one, this was started happening. It's a treehouse debacle. And Coach Catfish been doing this stuff for a long time. And I was a new boy in town when I moved it down. I was a new kid in town. Excuse me. And met many people. And there's just a lot of evilness there in the boot. There's lots of evilness. And, Coach Cabbage hung it out with certain... Well, I tried hung it out with everybody. I could do the athletics. I could hang out with the... What we had was the jocks, frocks, and the freaks. This is in 1977. I think it was 76, 77. That's what it was. This is a very different world. And anyway, the world was full of magic. There's all kind of magic. And if you believe in magic, magic, all kind of stuff with rock and roll. And, we was not doing the drugs and stuff at that time, nothing like that. we was still youngins. I had some innocence. The thing is, hell, our innocence had been crashed on by the evil one or something. Now, Coach Catfish, my girl, I don't want to implicate her. She was friends with somebody else. Anyway, but between everybody knowing each other and her girlfriend's friend was my friend. So I don't want to implicate him either. There's four of us. There's two couples. He is my best friend and Dave's best friends. So, of course, naturally, we did things together and went places. And, we're still young. But Coach Catfish had driver's license. I had the hardship thing at 15. So I had the car. Anyway, that wasn't 585. It's a good chip. Bi-stable multi-vibrator chip is what it was. 585. It's a good one. It's a good one because Catfish used it in many things. Wish White had one that night. Anyway, what had happened? This here young lady. Now we shared these stories and stuff, and she and I came from the similar backgrounds. Oh, that stuff got on me. We come from similar backgrounds. We know about the darkness and the dark stuff, and it's what happened. It's what it was, and we got to talking, and Coach Catfish, dealt with this stuff, and there's something going on back behind me. I don't know what it was. There's something going on. It had to do with cows. During that time when the cow thing was happening, you remember the cows? They'd go and they'd say, the E.T. done got them another cow. And they'd go out there in their eyeballs and their squishy parts and stuff would just be sucked out somehow. And this is, you can go listen to Miss Linda Moulton Howell. And she'll tell you all this here stuff. Anyway, the cows was going crazy. The cows was going crazy. And Coach Catfish was like, what is going on? Because I know that there's some covenant activity. Now, Coach Catfish, I repented of all that stuff. But people need to understand that kind of stuff happens. It really is real. I just never talk about it. It's in the book. But hell, nobody listens to the channel. So who's going to ever know? Unless they read the book. But anyway, I figured I'd just tell the story this here way. Cause it's sort of a healing process. And the fact is, I moved so far away. I almost forgot that kind of stuff is still happening in the world. It's bad. Anyway, then Coach Catfish is going with the story. What it was, I went and talked to the Dr. Chickapoo and told her what had been going on. And Coach Catfish was a Jesus child and stuff. But I had all this other things where you had these things talk to you and this thing out in the shed and the Oogaroo, all that stuff was going on in with Coach Catfish's life. It's strange. And, I was a trooper. Not super duper, but a trooper. Anyway, I say, Doc Chibu. I'll just call it Doc Chibu. Well, Pussycat, come in here and hang out with your daddy. I feel safer when I got two Pussycats in here. Well, there's something going on with the cows. There's weird stuff going on. And anyway, she say, yeah, there's some activity. Some snacktivity. And I was like, okay. And she say, you take this here. And you go out there. And you'll see what's going on. Do you really? Yeah, because I think I somewhat being, I don't know who grooms who in that stuff. But it's interesting, and I was a science person. And so to me, it was just like interesting, strange science. So, Coach Catfish hatcheted the plan, which really wasn't hatcheted nothing. What I got is, I got two of my friends. Got the good friend, it was her boyfriend, and my cousin. We always hung together. We ran around on our little motorcycles and stuff, and we went hunting, and, we was with boys. So we'd say, you know what, guys, let's camp out. Let's go camp out at Tree House Friday night. And they say, well, yes, of course we're going to camp out at Tree House. Now, this is back before, there's drugs and alcohols and stuff like that. So, there weren't no, I don't even think we had a Miller pony. I don't think that happened until the next day or something like that. Now, we was good kids. The only thing I think we had up there, it's a tree house. Now, Coach Catfish loved building tree houses. and I built it between two big old pine trees. And it's a teepee. It's a teepee like that. And you get up in that side, and it's a nice floor. It was very nice. We spent a good time working on that sucker. And anyway, it had an opening where you could like stick your head out and shoot out at squirrels, whatever you had to shoot. And we never thought about that, but that was just one way it was. And anyway, we just got up there that night, and we had worked all the day after we got out of school. Of course, it was when there was plenty of day. And anyway, we had worked all day, and we had made us a fire pit and got everything together. Moving the leaves back and stuff like that, and had us our little thing. And we had made us a ladder. It was a portable ladder. It was some 2x4s, and then the rungs, so you can climb up the sucker. Well, excuse me. I'm sorry, Kamagay. I did not mean to do that 3 times. It just happens that way. I don't know how to turn the sucker off. But we appreciate you, condoms of truth. Anyway, we was up in there. Up in that thing. And it was just having our evening. We had the fire down there. And really what I was doing, I did not tell them because I did not want to implicate their life into foolishness of Coach Catfish, because I did not know how to eat the other girl, the dark one girlfriend, really how much she told her boyfriend, because he just did not seem like a person that'd be interested in that kind of stuff. So I just had some people there with me, and we was going to have a good time and then see what showed up, because I'd heard there's a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, about 10:30, we just been settling down and just talking, sitting around being youngins, talking about what had happened at the school and, what our chickapoos is doing and stuff like that. And that's what it was. Next thing we know, the fire started going woof, woof, doing that kind of thing. And I was like, oh no, and I started feeling something coming on. It's strange. Is that a feeling I'd get there laying in bed at night when I hear things and I start, you just done had your Ouija board session. Well, who can say? The fire. And then they started like, what is going on? Because the other bitch did not want to say nothing. And then we started hearing things like leaves moving. And it hit like it was all around us. Now, we was in a new subdivision. It's just outside of town back then. Now, it's done growed up everywhere. But this was a nice little subdivision. And, you had your place, and you had a big open place and pasture, because we still had cows everywhere. And there's an old slough back behind there. And, other houses was maybe a half mile over, something like that. So anyway, and in between our house and another house, there's an old vacant lot, and that's where we did our stuff. We, nobody had fits back then, because nobody really did anything. You just built a tree, and hell, they built a house, they just knock it down, cut it down. Who would have cared? So anyway, that's what we was doing. About 10:30, all this strangeness started happening, and then the next thing, those cabbages say, I was feeling strange, and they was asking, what's going on, and we did not know. Now, we had our pellet guns. We did not take the rifles and stuff because we were in the neighborhood. More than likely you're not going to shoot something out with your pellet gun unless you do it on purpose. Thing was, it got so bad. Things got so weird. Our lights started going in and out. And old Coach Catfish sort of went into a trance state. 13:33.